warm welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's largest platform for entrepreneurs. I'm Sunanda Jayasheelan. Anything and everything that matters to you, we cover it right here on the show. Today, I'm in conversation with Arnab Kumar, someone who's joined us previously. He's ex-program director at NITI Aayog, also one of the brains behind the Arogya Setu app. I'm also being joined on the show live by Cars24. Arnab, good having you here on the show. First off, this is the first time I'm speaking with you since you have moved on from NITI Aayog, but you are as closely associated with SMEs, MSMEs and startups in the country. So good having you joining us again.
Thank you for having me.
One thing that perhaps has been a differentiator for a lot of small businesses is the fact that they have been, in a lot of ways, those who didn't have a digital footprint have been forced to come online. The last time we spoke, which was about a year ago, the figures that I was looking at was that 60% of India's MSMEs and SMEs didn't have even something as basic as a website. How has that changed? How has the pandemic forced that change?
So, in my view, pandemic has led to massive digital acceleration. This was a long time coming, but the way it has accelerated people to come online has been the significant shift. If you look from a business perspective across the country, there are a couple of things that have been solved. The first is the problem of individual identity through Aadhaar, the problem of transferring money through UPI, and we have seen massive increase in the usage of UPI. Similarly, I think, and we were looking at some of the surveys that have been put out in recent times. Dun & Bradstreet did one survey where more than 75% of the companies, smaller medium enterprises, they either have tried to move online or are in the process of moving online. So these are the ways people are trying to, and COVID has only accelerated the necessity to do that.
We've been speaking, all of the past couple of months here on Leaders of Tomorrow about how businesses have pivoted or innovating to respond to the opportunity, if I can call it that, which has been presented by the crisis, or coming up with new product or service lines to respond to the crisis. Given the how closely you've been associated with the pandemic and with the Arogya Setu app, and given your background really in the work when it comes to the public domain, my question for you is: do you feel there's been enough push on the part of private industries and small businesses when it comes to really innovating and responding to offering new offerings, new innovations, etc.?
Last 12 or to 15 months, the India's MSME sector, India's small and medium enterprises, they have shown their resilience. Newer business models have evolved. People have found ways to move their products from their factories, etc., through online means to the end consumer, and that I think is pivotal. What we've also seen is rapid digitalization in terms of their own business processes. So people who typically would have relied on, say, a khata book, etc., now have pushed most of those information online, and what we are seeing is innovation that is unique to India. So if you look at a typical small Indian business, a lot of work is done on paper, business process, which has for an immediate need has probably moved to, say, a WhatsApp or simpler web portals, etc. And from there on, it has moved to more complicated products. You will be surprised to know that for a business software, Tally, India is the biggest market. So if you have something like a QR-based code UPI at every shop, you have a lot of companies covered to, for example, Tally, etc. It's only a natural progression for them to have a lot of companies adopting, making sure that their own business processes are digitalized. And this has multiple uses. First of all, you get a digital footprint. But most importantly, what you start doing is that you start building a credit profile. And then ease of credit becomes something that you could have access to once you start putting a lot of your business processes, your financial transactions, etc., in the formal domain. Then it becomes easier for banks and BFCs, etc., to take a long-term view on your credit risk and offer you short, medium, and long-term financial products.
Data showing that the NPA stress for small businesses, at least in the first half of 2021, is not as bad as it was being expected to be. But that could also be because of the reconstruction of loans, which is being offered by the government, the support by the government, etc. What, according to you, is going to be the real picture for someone who's looking at fundraising, whether from banks, whether from PE, VC, etc.? What is the situation, in your opinion, in the rest of this fiscal going to look like, or in the short to mid-term?
So, see, the good thing is that in comparison to the last year when we had a national lockdown, etc., and we didn't have a prescription book, etc., for how to tackle COVID. For 2021, I think we have been better informed. Everybody has been better informed. We had a year. So instead of having national lockdowns, we have seen is micro containment, etc., regional lockdowns, etc., which has helped the businesses. What we have also seen is, as I mentioned earlier, it has given opportunity for a lot of smaller businesses to innovate, to find pioneering new ways to stay digital, stay relevant, etc. And because of which, what we will see is that for the COVID 2021 impact, while it was devastating for most of India, hopefully the economic impact will be short-lived and India will bounce back from an economic perspective in the near term. What that also means is that once things start smoothing out and the economy rebounds, the typical levers of economy, which is access to credit, etc., or investments in businesses, etc., they start increasing. You have seen Indian startup ecosystem, practically one unicorn is getting created every day here. So that appetite, global appetite, and more importantly, the pent-up appetite for capital is there. Businesses that have built frugally, businesses that have been able to stay strong despite everything that has been thrown at them. I think the next 6-12 months or even longer, I think they will be able to reap benefits of being resilient during the past 12 to 15 months.
I just want to get your comments, and I want to know if you're okay commenting on the fact that most experts are pointing to the fact that by the festive season of this year, if a majority of India's population is vaccinated, only then are you likely to see consumer demand and sentiment really coming back, given, of course, that the monsoon has pretty much been on track. I'm sure you've seen the auto sales numbers for May, which have been half of what has been, what previous numbers have looked like. For a small business, what is the kind of projection you would want to give them through this interview in terms of what your outlook is on the economy, demand, sentiment, reviving, etc.? What do you want to tell?
So see, there are multiple levers of spurring the demand for a economy as giant as India. The first thing is that obviously the comfort in terms of doing business in person, which can only be achieved if a majority of the country is vaccinated. And I think if you look at the latest numbers, I think the vaccine progress for the country is going at a good pace. So that's the first good thing. But more importantly, I think from our experience in 12 to 15 months, India's economy has not stopped. One of the main reasons for that is that we have found ways to stay relevant digitally. While a lot of us have stayed at home, look at the typical supply chains. They have not stopped. We have not seen any trouble in supply chain for, say, food items or consumer, fast-moving consumer goods or consumer durables. They all have, we have access to that, which means that a lot of people have put in effort to make sure that the digital representation of a physical good, that has moved smoothly. And this is where I think small businesses have to be agile in their effort. And this is what I would like to call the Shopify moment for the country, where a lot of small businesses have their own digital presence, digital identity, and are connected to the logistics and the supply chain in the right manner, again through digital means, to be able to fulfill their the supply of objects, so that there's a good and decent balance between supply and demand. Having said that, there are a couple of other levers that are required to keep spurring the demand. Obviously, for small businesses, etc., access to capital is important, and I think there have been a series of measures taken by the government to ensure that through for example, collateral-free loans, etc.
Finally, I have one last question. Any advice that you would have through this interview to speak with our small businesses, our overarching theme is empowering a billion dreams, that really small businesses are the businesses of the future. Going at least by your tweets, I can see you're a huge cricket fan. So any cricket parallels or terminology you want to leave us with for us, Marcus?
It's very, very simple, and thanks for asking me to use a cricket parlance. For me, MSMEs, SMEs are the Cheteshwar Pujara of the Indian cricket team. They are the powerhouse. They contribute to about half of the exports. They contribute to 1/5 of the employment and 1/3 of the GDP. This has to be well taken care of. And this segment of the economy, this segment of the workforce has to be well taken care of. One request to all SMEs is, if you have not been on the digital bandwagon, do not delay it any further. There are solutions, etc., that are being made for you. But here, it's an important construct that the various aspects of how we do this is important. It's just not an SME problem. It's an SME problem. It's a government problem. It's a technology problem. It's a banking and financial services problem. Only if you have a large amount of MSMEs and SMEs digital, that's when you start getting the digital footprint and bringing them to formal economy. It increases the capital pool for banks and NBFCs to lend to. It makes their lives easier. So when you are building interventions for all of them, bring all of them together and build solutions that work for India, given India's diversity. In India, you have people on smartphones that cost ₹1 lakh, but you have also smartphones that come for 3,000 rupees. So when you're building a solution, technology solution, think if it will work on the best of the phones and probably the cheapest of the phones also. Think from both technology first, but technology inclusive perspective also. That becomes important.
Let's step into a short break. Vikram Chopra of Cars24 joining us on the other side to talk about his perspective when it comes to the pandemic, how things change, how's he innovated, what is the way forward looking like. All of that when we come back after this commercial break. Do stay tuned. Welcome back with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow. Today in the hot seat, I'm being joined by Vikram Chopra of Cars24. Vikram, nice having you here on the show.
Thank you.
You know, in the previous segment, we were just talking about how a lot of businesses are moving online for the first time, perhaps during the pandemic, and thanks to the pandemic. And I want to now bring your perspective as an entrepreneur who's seeing these businesses, migrate online, and understand you've launched what is called the 100% online model. What is that really about? What can you tell us? What do you want to tell our viewers?
The buying model that we have introduced is that now a consumer can even buy a car online, like how you buy a mobile phone or t-shirts online. And actually the reason for launching this pretty much comes from the consumer demand,
Sure.
where the consumer said that, they are happy to be able to select the car that they want online. They don't want to visit a physical showroom, and they would be happier if the car was just delivered to their doorstep and they could do a test ride at their home itself and show it to their families as well. And I think the COVID waves, and two of them now, only accelerated the number of people who would prefer buying even a car this way. And hence, we are seeing some very strong success with selling even a car online now.
So what has been the impact then, Vikram, of buying and selling of cars online, not just for you at Cars24, but just give us an industry perspective of how things have perhaps changed.
I think the rebound, despite the lockdowns in our car sales, has been really sharp. And the fact that it's online, the rebound has honestly been faster, because if we had showrooms, we probably would have to keep them closed even now as gradually the lockdown gets lifted. But because it's fully online and the car gets delivered to the consumer's doorstep, the recovery has been faster. In fact, in the last Corona lockdown as well, we saw a very fast recovery. Our numbers went up by 50% compared to where they were before the first lockdown last year. And even this time, despite the fact that lockdowns are not fully lifted yet, our numbers have fully rebounded. So we are seeing a very strong recovery of demand from the consumers.
So what kind of investments then, give us a company perspective, have you had to undertake to ensure that as more and more consumers are coming online and to cater to your existing consumers, you're making this experience just so much richer? What kind of investments have you needed to undertake?
First thing is that we want to be able to present the cars in a way that consumer feels that while they're watching the car on their mobile screen,
okay,
but they should be able to see the car from every angle. They should be able to zoom in to see any level of details. So a lot of time is spent at customized studios that are made specifically for this, where the elaborate photo shoot is done for each and every car. There is a 360-degree video that is made for every car, and it's an interactive video. So a consumer can literally scroll left, right, up and down and look at car from every angle. Of course, to deliver the car to the consumer's doorstep, we have also invested in logistics. So we have our own fleet of trailers who carry the car right to the customer's doorstep.
All right.
And then lastly, every car is thoroughly reconditioned. We ensure that before a car is delivered to the consumer, that a car has gone through a 150-point checklist to ensure that it passes all the quality requirements. And if there are any minor things that need to be taken care of, for example, ensuring the car is fully serviced, the tires are functioning well, the engine oil is functioning fine, all of that is taken care of.
One is thinking of something, like buying a car online. Perhaps one of the things that would hold a consumer back is after sales service. As a model, as an industry, do you think that perhaps has been cracked?
Car quality is the most important thing, because anyone who's buying a car is looking to use it for next 2 to 6 years. So car quality is incredibly important. It's a very high ticket purchase. All of the cars that we sell are tested for stringent quality standards in-house by our own employees, so that we ensure that the cars are the highest quality. Not just that, to give additional confidence to the consumer, we offer them 7 days, no questions asked returns. What it means is that after purchasing a car for up to 7 days, for whatever reason, as simple as that I don't like this car anymore, or I don't enjoy the music system, you can return the car, no questions asked.
Okay.
In addition, we also offer a 6 months free warranty, so as to ensure that if there is any problem in the car, or if anything goes wrong, which we don't think will, but if it does, then you have a peace of mind that you do not have to spend any money from your own pocket to get it fixed. So we offer 7-day, no questions asked returns, which is first of its kind. We have seen that in e-commerce. In other categories, we have never seen that in the cars. So we brought that to the cars. And then in addition, we offer this 6 months warranty that comes free to every consumer.
Congratulations, Vikram. You turned unicorn earlier this year. What was that experience like for you? And just give us some background and some highlights of your entire fundraising journey so far.
The business we are in of pre-owned cars is a very difficult business to execute. This business also needs that you make money on every transaction, because the repeat usage is not that high. So for us, I think the first few years were spent in educating consumers, investors, employees on why this business is working and why this business can be a huge business. The problem that a consumer faces, whether in selling a car or in buying a car, is something that everybody related to, but not everybody was sure that this business works, and we are able to solve that problem effectively. So I think turning into a unicorn was a good milestone for us, in the sense that we see the conviction that we and our team have shared for almost 5 years was also being broadly accepted, which is great, because we have been working on this dream for last 5 years. That said, I think we are still a very small player in the bigger scheme of things. We have only 4% market share in the overall used car sales transactions in India. So we have a long way to go.
What's the rest of this fiscal then looking like for you, Vikram?
We need to do a lot of work in scaling the infrastructure that allows us to deliver the cars to the consumer homes. It includes setting up our own reconditioning centers where we quality check every car and ensure that it's of the highest standards. We are setting up our logistics network so that we are able to deliver the car even in the 500 city in India.
Okay.
And then, of course, we are trying to be able to increase the selection on our platform so that more consumers have all kinds of cars to choose from. And lastly, and very importantly, it's a high ticket purchase. Many people would like to have financing to be able to buy the car of their dream. And we are working very hard in ensuring that any consumer who's buying a pre-owned car has access to affordable financing so that they can buy the car.
Completely out of time on this episode of Leaders of Tomorrow. If you have any feedback for us, do let us know. Our contact details up on your screens as we speak. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.